Welcome, my dear students of class 10A and 10B. The lesson I am going to re-explain, lesson number 6, Mahatma Gandhi and the National Movement. The points, as I mentioned in the board, please look at it. Khilafat Movement, Rowlatt Act, Jallianwala Bagh tragedy, Chauri Chaura incident, impact of the non-cooperation movement. First one, Khilafat Movement. You know, Gandhiji started non-cooperation movement against the British. But under what circumstances had he started the non-cooperation movement? It is very important to learn. There are certain factors which also led to the formation of a new movement, the non-cooperation movement by Gandhiji. The factors were, number one, the Khilafat movement. What is Khilafat movement? In the First World War, Turkey had been defeated by Britain. It fought against the Allies in the First World War. But after its defeat, most of its territories were occupied by Britain, and hence it suffered humiliation at the hands of Britain or Allies. But the Muslims regarded the Sultan of Turkey as their Caliph or Khalifa, means the religious head, and paid high respect to him. This is the reason over the question of the justice done to Turkey or the Khalifa was called the Khilafat movement in India. The Khilafat movement was organized by two Ali brothers, Maulana Shaukat Ali and Maulana Muhammad Ali, Abul Kalam Azad, Hakim Azmal Khan, and others in India. The All India Khilafat Conference was held at Delhi, which gave a call for the Hindu-Muslim unity. In that very conference, Gandhiji was elected as his president. Gandhiji welcomed the Khilafat movement. He gave a call to the people of India to support the Khilafat movement in order to strengthen it to fight against the British rule in India. The Khilafat committee also was formed. Gandhiji suggested the Khilafat committee to unite, to strengthen the unity between the two communities of India, the Hindus and Muslims. And as a result of it, the All India Khilafat Committee, which was started, the All India Khilafat Committee gave a call for the non-cooperation. The All India Khilafat Committee, which was held, Gandhiji started non-cooperation. Gandhiji suggested to start non-cooperate with the British in order to strengthen the Khilafat movement. Apart from this movement also became a factor for the British, since the unity of the two communities of India, the Hindus and the Muslims, had become a great eyesore for the Britishers. What they did not want to make had happened. The unity between the two communities was strengthened only because of the Khilafat movement. So this is, my dear students, the Khilafat movement. And another factor which also had become another factor which also led to the rise of the non-cooperation movement, that was the Rowlatt Act. The Rowlatt Act was passed in the year 1919, which authorized the government to imprison any person without trial and conviction in a court of law. Gandhiji opposed the act. he founded Satyagraha Sabha, whose members took a pledge to oppose the act. There were strikes, demonstrations. The people of India called it Black Act. That Rowlatt Act was a very insulting act for the people of India, since they were imprisoned without trial and conviction. And there no chance was given to them to explain, to learn why were they imprisoned, why were they being imprisoned. They did not have any right to open their mouth at the time when they were arrested. That's why that big act, Rowlatt Act, the people of India called it Black Act. Gandhiji opposed that strongly, and Gandhiji was able to establish his image, his fair image, as one of the greatest leaders of India during the national movement against the British. Another important factor, that was Jallianwala Bagh incident. Despite the protest from the people, the Rowlatt Act was passed in the year 1919. But the protests were still continued. The protests were still continued against that act, against that very Black Act in various parts of India. The protest had become very strongest in Punjab. In protest against that Black Act, two famous Congress leaders, Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu, were organizing a number of meetings in order to draw the attention of the people, in order to get them connected with the national movement against the British oppression, against the British Black Act, the Rowlatt Act. Only because of that reason, suddenly the British arrested the two famous Congress leaders of Punjab, Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu. In protest against that arrest, a meeting was organized at Jallianwala Bagh, a place of Amritsar in Punjab. A very narrow path leads to the park. The park was enclosed with high walls on all sides, but only one narrow path was there which led to the park. Only one small gate was there, and a number of men, women, as well as children were present there. Before the meeting started, General Dyer, the military commander, of Punjab, warned the people, forbade them from attending the meeting by miking, but still a number of people gathered there to hear the voice of Congress leaders in protest against the arrest of the two famous Congress leaders, Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu. So when the meeting started, as soon as the meeting started, General Dyer, the military commander, along with his troops, entered the park and ordered his troops to open fire at an unarmed gatherings. The fire continued for 10 minutes. Near about 1,000 people died, and more than 2,000 people were severely wounded. It came just like a reign of terror. General Dyer had no regrets for this. Martial law was imposed all over Punjab, and that, misery of the British the sentiments of Indian people. Gandhiji gave a call for the unity of the two communities. Only because of that Jallianwala Bagh incident. So the issue of the Khilafat, where Indian people strongly supported it under the leadership of Gandhiji, the Muslims decided to support the stand of Mahatma Gandhi, which resulted in the rise of another movement, which resulted in a new movement, the non-cooperation movement. Rabindranath Tagore gave up his knighthood award in protest against that Jallianwala Bagh incident. The people of India raised their voice against the unjust treatment of the British at Jallianwala Bagh. And that incident had become a very important factor for starting the non-cooperation movement by Gandhiji. My dear student, next point I am going to discuss here. Another point, Chauri Chaura incident. What is Chauri Chaura incident? Chauri Chaura was a place near Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh, where a mob attacked the police station. Since a group of people were arrested by the British only because of the liquor shops from where they used to sell this kind of drugs, alcohols, the British suddenly during midnight arrested them in protest against the arrest of the mass, the common people who are totally dependent on their income. Their family members decided to attack the police station. They also followed the same footsteps. They attacked the police station during midnight. They attacked the police station. 22 policemen were working there inside the police station. They set it fire and killed 22 policemen. Gandhiji's movement was dependent on the concept of non-violence method of satyagraha. Whenever the movement had become violent, Gandhiji felt very much sorry for them and decided to call off the non-cooperation movement. Only because of that Chauri Chaura incident, Gandhiji's movement became violent, and he decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement. When Gandhiji withdrew the non-cooperation movement, most of the Congress leaders remained in the jail, but they strongly protested against the decision of the withdrawal of non-cooperation movement. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose strongly opposed the decision of Gandhiji. He said, when the movement was in its climax, Gandhiji withdrew the movement. So this Chauri Chaura incident forced Gandhiji to withdraw the non-cooperation movement. And another one, impact of the non-cooperation movement. The non-cooperation movement, which was started by Gandhiji, it had great impact throughout the country. The people of all groups, they actively participated in the non-cooperation movement. Gandhiji was able to get the mass involved in his non-cooperation movement. He was able to get the students of colleges and universities involved in the non-cooperation movement. He was able to convince the educated class, the enlightened class of India to be a part of it. The teachers, they left their jobs, teaching profession. The lawyers left their legal profession. Doctors left their practice in each and every field. The people of India started non-cooperating with the British. So many Indian highly qualified people refused to accept honorable jobs only because of the reason. The people of the country were being tortured, insulted, their rights were violated. That's why Indian educated people decided to start direct action against the British. And as a result of it, the non-cooperation movement scattered throughout the country. Almost all parts of India, the non-cooperation movement, during non-cooperation movement, people of India extended their keen cooperation towards Gandhiji and his non-cooperation movement. That's why Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose rightly said, when the movement is on its climax, Gandhiji committed a mistake. He withdrew the non-cooperation movement. Up to this, my dear students, thank you.